We start.
Please, the noise is
Good evening, Nigeria, and all who have joined this program from any part of the world. I'm Toshku Raphael, journalist with Diaspora Digital Media, and I welcome you to a very special edition of Politics Hour, coming to you live on Zoom. This evening, we stand at a historic political crossroads. This camp, the camp of the national opposition parties, is crammed with a lot of activities politicking. Just months ago, no one would have imagined that names like Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Nasser El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi would perhaps be mentioned in the same breath under the banner of a national opposition coalition. Yes, coalitions are forming, and Nigeria's politics is taking a new turn. But at the center of this emerging political realignment is a unique and powerful force, the Obidient Movement. This fresh vision, bold, idealistic movement made history in 2023 by mobilizing millions of Nigerians behind a vision of integrity, competence, and a new kind of politics. It united young and old, urban and rural, north and south, around a candidate not bought by the system, but built by a huge hope. Yet, this hope was challenged. Despite his remarkable success, the Obedient Movement and its candidate were denied victory amidst widespread allegations of electoral malpractice. Now, we are here again. 2027 is knocking, and the stakes are higher than ever. The big question is, what role will the Obedient Movement play in the opposition's grand plan to unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC government? Will the national opposition coalition lead, or will it merge, or will it resist being diluted by the very political culture it once defined? Now, to explore these defining moments, to explore these issues, I'm joined by three leading voices of the Obedient Movement. First person is Dr. Yunus Atanko, the national coordinator of the Obedient Movement. He is also a former chairman and presidential candidate of the National Conscience Party in 2019. Dr. Yunus Atanko, you are welcome to Politics Hour. All right. The second guest that will be speaking to us is Malam Jabil. Malam Jabil is the Director of Mobilization for the Northwest Obedient Movement. You're welcome, sir. All right, and the third person that will be speaking to us on this matter is no other person than Ibrahim Umawasi. Ibrahim Umawasi is the spokesperson P2B Media Reach. Ibrahim, you are welcome to the program. If Dr. Yunus Atanko can hear me, please, let's hear your voices. Gentlemen in the studio, let's hear your voices to know if you can hear us. Let's start.
You can start now, Mr. Tochiko. Good afternoon.
All right.
Ibrahim, hello. Sorry, I'm joining late, please. I was a little bit engaged, but I'm okay now.
All right, no problem, no problem. Now let's start with the let's form a context of the whole situation. Now, how would you assess what is your reading? What has been the state of affairs in terms of governance with respect to the APC since 2023. Now, the question is directed to you since Dr. Yunusa is not available. Let me direct the question to you. Malam Jabir, what is your reading of the current political landscape in Nigeria?
Sorry, can you please repeat your question?
Okay, now I am asking, what is your assessment of the way governance has been since 2023? The
Okay.
governance, all right. Okay.
You see the situation in Nigeria is very obvious. I don't think it requires much explanation. Looking at what is going on in the country, nothing is actually working, starting from the security, coming down to education, health, infrastructure, and whatsoever. Everything is just improper in Nigeria, and the relevant authorities are not willing to do the needful. So you see, the situation is just worrisome. We need people that always prioritize, the people's need. The essence of any responsible government is to protect lives and properties of citizens. But in Nigeria, that's not the case. So the situation is just worrisome, and that is why we need new set of leaders who knows the values of human being and leaders that can prioritize the lives and property. Like today in Nigeria, I think even a chicken has more life certainty than human beings, because as a man now, as a Nigerian, you cannot travel freely.
Mr. Jabiel, are you still there? Mr. Jabiel,
Hello, can you hear me, please?
very clearly. Speak
All right.
on.
So as I was saying now, but you see, if you look at the situation now, people don't even think of rock accident while traveling nowadays. You know, they are all thinking of kidnapping or whatsoever. So you see, the situation is just beyond explanation. We need change of government. We need change of people. People with unquestionable integrity. People that has a clear roadmap on how to lead a society, not people that are only interested in power. Because if you look at the set of leadership we have in Nigeria, they are only interested in power. They don't care what the masses are going through. Let me give an example of what I'm more familiar with. If you look at the agricultural sector now in the country, the government has almost or completely crippled the agri sector by importing a large amount of maize, while the palm input are still very expensive. They have crippled the economy. They have crippled the farmers to the extent that many farmers will not be able to farm the amount of hectares they used to cultivate before, because the farm produce doesn't have how value doesn't have any value. The farm produce, while the
I think your line is, oh, okay.
you understand.
Yes, speak.
So 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 these are the kind of things we should be looking at. If you look at the security, how insecurity affect agriculture, there are some people that used to cultivate 500 to 1,000 hectares of land, but now, due to the insecurity, they don't have access to that land. You get the point? So
All right.
this is another problem. And if you look at the exchange rate now, look at the dollar. There is no constant or specific price of things. You can buy something at 100 naira today and go back to the market tomorrow and find out that it is 200, 500, or thereabout. So you see, these are the kind of things that should be looked into consideration. We can't just be moving like this as a nation. We are not coordinated. We are just anyhow in this country. Look at it.
Right.
How much have they budgeted for for educational sector? How much have they budgeted for health? How much have they budgeted for so many critical areas of development. So you see, there is need complete and total and comprehensive change of leadership in this country if we really want to move forward. Because what we have today as leaders are nothing but bunch of clowns and non-corrupt people. Corrupt. The only politician in Nigeria, I'm not campaigning, but I'm just telling you, the only politician or former governor or current governor in Nigeria that doesn't have any case with AFCC is Mr. Peter Obi. So they are the kind of leaders we want. Not someone, a non-thief, someone who stole public funds. So you see, the situation, as I said earlier, is obvious. It doesn't require any long grammar. There's nothing like long grammar, long English. No, it is obvious. Nothing is properly working in Nigeria. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for that opening statement. Nothing is actually working in Nigeria. Now, since we have established this context uh, that nothing is working in Nigeria, what lessons have the Obidient Movement learned since then? What lessons?
Okay, so you see, the lesson actually we have learned, especially in the previous elections. You know, we were so reluctant. We were relaxed, thinking that the INEC will do the needful because they promised Nigerians free and fair elections. They promised online transmission of results, which we all believe them because so much billions of naira has been budgeted for election purpose. And based on what they have been saying, on what the INEC chairman has been saying, Nigerians all obedient believe them. I agreed with what they said. But now the question is, do you think we will ever trust anything from them? Nothing. Nobody will ever trust them again. The only thing that they will say, and we agree with them, is when they say there is God. That's the only thing that will this government said, and Nigerians, not only obedient Nigerians, will agree with them. So we have learned our lesson, and we are ready to make all the necessary corrections at the right time by the special grace of God. And lastly, we have also learned that we had what are they calling these people? Um, so some people that were working, they worked against us while they claimed to be part of us. You understand? They
All
claimed
right.
to be part of us, but they were working against them. We sorted them out. We know all of them out. We are willing to do the needful. Thanks.
All right. I appreciate your contribution, Mr. Malem Jabiel. I don't know whether Dr. Yunusa Tanko can hear me. Dr. Tanko, can you hear me? Dr. Tanko? All right. Think I'm going to come back to him. Uh, Mr. Wasi, Ibrahim Wasi. Now, with the emergence of talks around the mega opposition coalition currently, where exactly does the Obedient Movement stand?
Hello, am I audible now? All right, Chiku, for this question. Indeed, this question is timely. The coalition, as you know, is just in its infancy. I would like to put it that way, because it is in the stage whereby it is a personal discussion among the parties, not even a political platform. So the Obedient Movement stance is clear. As you all know, Obedient Movement is the only movement built based on ideology. Our stand is the interests of Nigerians. Let me first begin by saying that every Nigerian has a belief in His Excellency Peter Obi. Rightly so, Mr. Peter Obi embodied or epitomizes the character and characteristics of the leaders we want. As my colleague rightly said, we are suffering from a lot of ills in Nigeria. Nigeria is currently the most poorest country on earth. We have the highest number of out-of-school children. Not just that, insecurity have bedeviled our society. So we need someone who is as disciplined. I used to say that for anybody to be an effective leader in Nigeria, not just being the president, but an effective leader, you need to have these requirements, these 3 requirements that are necessary. Number 1 requirement is for you to be a bridge builder. Bridge builder in the sense you are a Muslim accepted by the Christians or a Christian accepted by the Muslim. You need to be a Southerner that is accepted by the Northerners or a Northerner that is accepted by the Southerners. And last but not least, knows the diversity of Nigeria and be willing to change the trajectory of the country. It is no longer news that leadership has eluded us, but it takes sacrifice for someone to come and say, I want to change. I don't want to join the status quo. I want to chart a new path. I think His Excellency Peter Obi epitomizes these qualities. Is currently the only politician that is accepted across the board by the Southerners, the Northerners, the Muslims, the Christians, and every other person in Nigeria. So our stand is simple. We are standing with the Nigerian people. Our interest goes in line with the interests of the Nigerian people. The stand is the stance against poverty, the stance against despotism, a stance against injustice, a society where meritocracy take the lead. So that's the stance of the Obidient Movement in the Emerging Coalition. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Now, I want to ask a specific question. Ibrahim, why I'm asking this question is that some members of the Obidient Movement are arguing that the issue of coalition and then the ideals, the fundamental ideals of the movement, they seem to be in conflict. For example, P2B has been seen, liaising with politicians who regarded as conventional, or should I say corrupt, if I may use that word. So how do you reconcile both? How do you reconcile this? And how would you convince the Obidient Movement that we still keep to our fundamental principles of integrity, of competence, of morality, of discipline, and all that? How do you convince the average Obidient? Ibrahim.
All right, thank you. Let me begin by saying the sentiment of the Obidient family are valid and deeply appreciated. They stand from a place of hope for a new Nigeria built on integrity, competence, and decisive break from the status quo. Peter Obi understands this because he himself is a product of that same yearning for a better country. However, leadership is not about isolation. It is about engagement. Mr. Peter Obi has always maintained that building a new Nigeria will require dialogue, persuasion, and strategic partnership. Even with those who may have walked different paths in the past, sharing a stage does not mean sharing ideology. It means being present where the change can be influenced. It means seizing every opportunity to advance the values of transparency, accountability, and service to the people. To the obedience, I say this, Peter Obi has not changed his principles. What he has changed is the strategy Sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, Ibrahim, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. As I was saying, Peter Obi, no change. So, and I said, I have this obedience. In democracy, we don't build a country by burning the bridge. We build countries by carefully crossing them. And we cross the bridge with vigilance, with courage, and with service to the people. We can't build Nigeria. You can't be a leader if you start running away from the system. We fix a broken system from within, not from outside. So the alliance or the coalition of Peter Obi with other politicians that some think are not people of character and integrity is not a change of conviction, but a change of strategy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Now let me turn to you, Malam Jabiel. Can you hear me? Malam Jabiel. Mr. Jabiel, can you hear me? All right. What about Dr. Yunus Atanko? Has he joined? Has he been able to get in touch with us? Dr. Tanko. Okay. I believe there is a little problem. But let me start. Let me go back to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, you are a spokesperson to P2B Media Reach. Now, is there any red line Obi will not cross? Or is the coalition goal enough to justify all compromises? Because some members of the Obidient Movement believe that coalition means that Obi has given some kind of compromise. So is there any red line Obi will not cross? Great.
Thank you, Mr. Tochukwu, once again for this question. But I prefer the words cooperation more than compromise. Compromise means you're giving in because of something you believe is superior. While cooperation is coming together with what you have, what I have, to build something stronger. So there is nothing like compromise from the Obidient Movement. We are grounded, and there is nothing that is going to change our conviction. Peter Obi is fully engaged, as I said earlier, he's fully engaged, and the movement is not just support base, it is the soul of the political renaissance. It is a civic awakening that has redefined what it means to be politically conscious in Nigeria. You know, prior to the Obidient Movement, there was nothing like politics of ideology in Nigeria. Politicians will just come and go, and winning election was the sole mantra. But after the Obidient Movement, Nigerians have witnessed a politics of ideology, whereby people are championing a cause rather than personality or party loyalty. We believe in the personality of Peter Obi, not Peter Obi as a person, but his personality that and the drive and the blueprint he has toward rescuing this country. So there's nothing like compromise. Mr. Tuku, I would like to correct you on this. There's nothing like compromise, but cooperation. And in that cooperation, as I said, Mr. Peter Obi has repeatedly said, it is not about me, it is about Nigeria. So it is about Nigeria and the Nigerian people. It is not about Peter Obi's interest, neither it is about the Obidient Movement interest. It is the interest of the Nigerians. That's our stance. And we are not going to compromise anything. We are not going to use Nigerians just like the status quo, like pawn in a chess game. We are bringing a positive change to the system. I hope I answered this question.
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Dr. Yunusatanko, are you there? Can you hear me, please? Mr. Jabir, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, I want to ask you, now, your responsibility is the North. And we know that the Obedient movement made significant inroads in the 2020. What is the mood in the North now? Mr. Jabir.
So please, can you please repeat your question?
Okay, I said that the Obedient movement made some inroads, substantial inroads in the 2023 general elections. What is the mood like in the North now, currently?
All right. Just like any other place in the country, the same thing applies to the North. We are getting the required acceptability, the popularity, and whatsoever needed to win election. We have it, and I can tell you, it is very obvious. It is something that people can see without even telling. So all we are doing now is keeping on doing what we are doing, pursuing, bringing more people on board, creating partnership and collaborations that will add value to the movement. And I can assure you, we have achieved and we are still achieving a significant, progress, which by the special grace of God, we will achieve the desired goal when it is the right time to achieve the goal. Thank you.
All right, but are obedience in the North comfortable with aligning with Southern politicians like Atiku, El Rufai, both of whom represent the traditional establishment?
Yes, sometimes, most of the people are ignorance of politics. And some people are just, bringing emotions into politics, which are two different things. Emotions and politics are two different things. So sometimes when you want to do politics, you have to keep your emotions aside. And in most cases, you can even come together with your enemy for a common purpose in politics. When you achieve that, then you not rest. Let me give you an example. In 2015, Senator Shehu Sani and Malam Nasir El-Rufai, they were enemies in then, and they don't like each other. It is not something that is hidden to the public. It is a general knowledge that almost everyone's in Kaduna or in the northern Nigeria is aware of. But what they came together, they fought the then government. El-Rufai became the governor, while Senator Sani became the senator. What happened after that? So you see all those small children with their 10 GB data on social media, insulting people here and there, saying that they don't like this, they don't like that. Sometimes you don't have to give them the required attention. Politics is beyond that. Politics is about collaboration. Politics is about number. And you alone, you cannot do it. It is very obvious this government cannot be defeated by a single candidate. Atiku alone cannot do it. Obi alone cannot do it. Nasir alone cannot do it. We need collaboration. We need all those people. So forget about all those, making noise on social media. Most of them don't even have voters card, and most of them don't even live, in Nigeria. So someone somewhere else will be tweeting rubbish, So these are the kind of things that we want people to understand. Politics is beyond that. You have to remove emotions, because if we should all allow our emotions to come in when making judgment. We are not going anywhere. So you just have to keep your emotion aside and accept the reality in as much as you want to win election. And emotion doesn't win election. It happens. So please, yeah, politics and emotions are two different things and they cannot go together. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Javier. Before we continue, let's allow some questions. Due process, what?
Yes, good evening once again. I want to appreciate the discussion so far. Malam Jabir, you've been doing a lot with the discussion and the narration.
Comments do you have?
Can you confirm to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I want to appreciate your contribution so far. As a matter of fact, this same emotion matter is what I'm discussing in one of the platform. I don't see why Obedience are taking this too far. Wọ́n call mi nígbà tí mo ṣe contribution torí Ọlọ́run. Wọ́n náà máa gbé sí flight mode so má ti wà. Gbé sí flight mode. Hello? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we do. Please.
Sorry, I was interrupted by a call. I was actually commending you for your line of thoughts. Obedience, from look of things in this coalition, we need to do more to resensitize our foot soldiers, because they are just creating more challenges for Obi in this instance of the coalition. I see no reason why somebody will say he doesn't want this, he doesn't want that. As a matter of fact, coalition does not discriminate. It's open to everybody, good, bad, and the ugly. So long as they are all interested in the new Nigeria that we are championing, we welcome everybody. What is important, in 2015, different Jik and Harry came together to form the government, and they're able to take over the government. That should be our primary concern, not issue of, I don't want this, I don't want that. You alone cannot do it. As a matter of fact, you may have access to knowledge, the information that make you to dislike certain persons. But how about the huge followers that are following the person that you feel you don't like, that are in the grassroots, who don't have access to smartphone, who don't have access to the information that you have? So this should be some of the consideration we have before we come out to make very, destructive statements. I'm just reading in one of the platforms. I don't want to call name, but I'm so heartbroken seeing that comment. It's not healthy for the movement. And I think it's high time that PO come out to address this issue. Followers who are not ready to follow him to wherever he's going or whatever he's doing, they should please distance themselves from claiming to be obedient, because they are doing more damages to the movement. We can't be repairing and be destroying at the same time. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Due Process, for that comments. Now, let me ask you a question. Dr. Tanko, can you hear me once more? All right. Mr. Ibrahim, there is this concern, genuine concern. Mr. Tim, you want to speak? Mr. Tim, you can speak.
Yes, I have a question. The Obidient Movement seem to be at a crossroad here, because I have come across a lot of comments on, especially on the social media, about the Obidient who we will not hear of any coalition, Mr. Peter Obi being relegated to vice presidential candidate or anybody. And yet, it seems what we
Mr. Chief, I
are
think your
witnessing that
line
is
is
about
breaking.
getting. Well, that's network. Sorry, I can't help that. Am I better now?
Yes, continue.
Okay. So I'm saying that we'll be to crossroad here because I have read a lot of articles from staunch obedience who will say that for no reason should Obi be a vice presidential candidate to anybody, not Atiku, not anybody. And yet that is what, it seems that is what we're about to witness here, with Obi playing second fiddle to Atiku Abubakar. Many Obedience have threatened that if will that happen, they will abandon Mr. Peter Obi. I would have wanted Mr. Yunus Atango to react to that if he is available to do so. But if he is not, please, how will the Obedience react to this dicey situation here, whereby their followers refuse to take a second fiddle to play the second fiddle to Atiku Abubakar? Should Obi be relegated to such in the event of a coalition? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that question. It is a very important question. And Mr. Jabel, I believe you would like to do justice to it.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Speak on.
Okay, well, as I said earlier, sometimes politics is beyond what is taken. There are some certain things that an ordinary person might not really understand because he is not, in a situation to make decisions. Like, let me not say much. I know Dr. Tonko is here and he will do justice to this person, but I can tell you whatever decision Mr. Peter Obi is willing to make or has already made, in as much as you believe in Mr. Peter Obi, you should accept that and follow him. You are following Peter Obi, and you said you believe in Peter Obi. So that means you should believe in Peter Obi's decision. Whatsoever Peter Obi decides as a good follower, just follow him. I'm not saying you should follow him blindly, but we know the kind of person he is. Obi has been consistent in what he is doing. If you look at his record, he's someone with unquestionable integrity, someone with no corruption cases. So, and I don't think Obi will make any wrong or selfish decision. So I want my fellow Obidient to know that any decision that Peter Obi made should kindly be respected and supported by any responsible and well-meaning Nigerian, because I believe it is for the betterment of Nigeria. So I think this is all I have to say with the presence of Dr. Congo. I know he could actually address all the concerns raised by the persons here. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Jabiel. Now, let me also throw the same question to the spokesperson, media spokesperson, Mr. Wasi. If P2B were to accept, some would say he would not dare to accept, but if he eventually accepts, what would be the state and the position of the Obidient movement? Brahim, I don't think you...
Am I audible now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, I think the Obidient
Ibrahim, I think you should remove that earpiece.
movement
That is what
will remain as it is. The soldier go, soldier come. So as I was saying, I honestly believe the Obidient movement will remain regardless of the outcome in of the coalition. As they said, soldier go, soldier come, and still the barrack remain. People like us believe in Peter Obi and believe in anywhere he chooses to carry us, regardless of whether or not we like that path. Leadership is about trust, and they say trust is the most expensive treasure. We believe in him, we trust him, and we will follow him anywhere. And I believe most of the obedience are just like myself and have the same sentiments. And I would like to remind people of one thing. Power in itself is not won by conviction. It is oftentimes won through strategy. So it is not rational for someone to just say, I'm not going to accept this and that. And as I earlier mentioned, it is about the interests of Nigerians. Obi is not even disparate to govern the country. So if the alliance or the interests of Nigerians demands that he step down completely, not even being on the ballot, he's okay with that. And leadership is not only leading from the front. You can also lead from the rear. So I think that's the stance of the Obidient movement, and the Obidient movement. I don't think there's anything that will shake the Obidient movement.
Right, thank you, Ibrahim. Dr. Anongu Moses, make your comments or your question.
Okay. Thank you very much, the organizers of this chat room, for playing the second fiddle. I have a specific concern on the personality of Atiku Abubakar, given the fact that I have just recently witnessed the result of a terrible desperation from the person of General Muhammadu Buhari, who even whipped on a national television that he has a vision to rule Nigeria and take Nigeria somewhere. And he was given that opportunity. In 2015, boom, Buhari has taken Nigeria to where we are today. He killed Nigeria completely, and Tinubu is burying the country. So with that at the back of my mind, I will not, in quote and in block capital letters, never again support desperate politicians in Nigeria, because I am sensing another horrible situation Nigeria will find itself with this kind of desperation Atiku is putting forward. Why must he rule the country? That was a question I asked during Buhari's time. And it happened that he was coming with an ulterior motive, an agenda to completely destroy the country. So for me, as an obedient, I won't even spend a minute to remain obedient than to remain a capital citizen, ordinary citizen like any other person. I don't even have time for that. I don't even have time for that. If Obi is not contesting as a president, what stops Atiku deputizing Obi? If he feels it's too big to deputize Obi, Atiku had boys who are loyal to him. Why not select one of the northern heavy young person, vibrant politician, and stand behind that person and say, this is my candidate. Go in and work with you and let us restructure this country. Must he be the one to be on the ticket? Then something is hidden somewhere. And I won't hesitate to pull out. That's just my concern. Thank you.
Architect Emeka O. Ekweme, please make your comment.
Good evening, everyone. It's not much of a comment, rather than a question. And I would like Ibrahim Omar and then Malam Jabir to answer that, either or both of them. As for the Obidient Movement, if Peter Obi aligns himself with a particular political party, will the Obedience also be registered as members of that party? Thank you.
All right. Mr. Jaber, could you answer the question?
Yes, not answering the question, but since Dr. Donko is here, he's in the right position to respond to that.
All right. Dr. Yunusa Tanko, you are welcome. Can you hear me? Dr. Tanko. I don't think he has got in touch.
All right. In his absence, you see, if you look at the current crisis, political crisis in the country, you should be following what is happening with Labour Party, especially with the recent developments of judgment by the Supreme Court, where they clearly mentioned that Abure is no longer the chairman of the Labour Party. So, as the stakeholders of the Labour Party, they met and met an agreement or decision where they have written a letter to INEC and submitted submitted the letter to INEC, waiting for the INEC to replace our president with Nenadi Usman. So with this development, the Labour Party, Obi is still in the Labour Party, and we are still waiting for the Supreme Court to do the needful. Then, secondly, as you know, coalition discussions are ongoing, so we cannot specifically say this is where we belong or this is where we are going. That's why I wanted to answer that question, because he's the first person has more knowledge to share about issues that has to do with the political party. Then, secondly, on the Obidient Movement, Obidient Movement is not a registered political party, so you can't or you don't even bring Obidient Movement into that. We have a structure, but what we have to align with a particular political party. As for now, we are still in the Labour Party, just like what Mr. Peter obviously said recently. But subsequently, other changes might come up as I have answered your question. Thank you.
Okay. That's to an extent, because I wish Yunus Tanko was here, as he would have been the best person to answer the question.
I think he's coming up in the next 15 minutes or less. That's what he said. But Mr. Ibrahim, do you have anything to add to this?
I think Obidient Movement. So in the event, if Obi joins another political platform of Obidient Movement, some of us are not but we are obedient. We are obedient. Obedience in very old politics are going to join him on that digital platform. I think it's not a question that is really necessary, because we are going to follow the right person anyway, while we belong under the most important platform is the Obidient Movement. The party is just basically.
Mala Ibrahim, I can't hear you. Can you please remove the earpiece?
Am I audible now? Am I audible?
Yes, go on.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Dr. Yunusa.
Yes.
You're welcome to the program.
I said,
thank you.
the Obidient Movement.
Okay, let me just, since you have joined us squarely, let me just ask you
I just
this
wanted
question.
I want to quickly just apologize. I wish I could be with you on this very important discussion. Unfortunately, I'm in a little transit. I will appeal to you to please give me another time where I can be more comfortable in answering most of your questions. But I know that the two persons that you have already on the platform discussing are also capable of answering most of your questions. So please, I just wanted to apologize for my inability to be with you at this moment. Thank you so much. Happy deliberation till we meet again in another much better period. Thank you.
All right, no problem, sir. No problem. Okay, Mr. Ibrahim, you may continue now.
Am I audible? Political party. Can you hear me? All right, as I was saying, party. There is Obidient Movement in every political party in Nigeria. The most important thing we should focus on is the Obidient Movement. The question whether we are going to follow if we join another platform, I don't think it's necessary, because for the Obidient Movement deal, the Obidient Movement is a drive towards a new and better Nigeria. So once you have that drive, that's what we ask for. If you decide to join the political platform, that's left for you. But the main thing is you are obedient. You are a champion who is championing the cost of a new Nigeria. And I think that's the most important of all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. There is a third hand raised. Mr. Williams, make your suggestion, your comment, or your question. Mr. Williams, are you there? You have.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Aya Williams from Ondo State. I want to appreciate the convener of this meeting and our community. Hello, Mr. Tochukwu. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you. A call disrupted my flow. Okay, so I want to appreciate our guests and how they have been doing justice to some of the questions that have been asked. But I want to go in this direction because one of the questions that was asked, the answer that was given, apart from some of us that are online right now in this meeting, there are countless number of Nigerians who are obedient that we have at the grassroots, some in villages, and so many other places. And our understanding of the Obidient movement is that the Obidient movement is an ideology, and it is that ideology that we believe in that makes us members of Obidient movement. Now, we believe that our principal, His Excellency Peter Obi, is the one at the leadership apex of that movement. He embodies this ideology. That is why we believe in him. Now, if we are having him playing a second fiddle to certain individuals whom we have seen their antecedent in this country, what they have done, what they are capable of doing, that does not align with the ideology of Obidient movement. And our principal is agreeing to be to play second fiddle to such people. To us, we feel it's a betrayal of that ideology that we all subscribe to. And that's why many people, because if you see the pulse of people everywhere, especially in Ondo State here, I happen to be one of the leaders of the Obidient movement in Ondo State. If you feel the pulse of our people, everybody kept, in fact, one of the calls that came about, some calls that be coming in while this meeting is going on now, our Obidient movement calling. And many of them kept calling, is it true that our principal is going to deputize for XYZ person? And we keep telling them, no, they are still on negotiation. Negotiation is still going on, conversation, discussion is still going on until they get to final, they take a final position on all these things, but that we are sure that PO will be on the ballot. Now it will be difficult to explain to these people based on the ideology that we believe in the Obidient movement for PO to play second fiddle to any of these people. So that particular area needs to be properly looking into. We believe in PO, we believe in that ideology of the Obidient movement. And to play second fiddle to any of these people that we know will not really take Nigeria anywhere will be very difficult. That's just the area that I want to come in. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate your contribution. Now, I want to ask a question. Mr. Ibrahim,
please. Yeah, I want to bring more clarity to it. Let me set this unequivocally. Yes, there are red lines, and Peter Obi will not cross them. Coalition building is important, but not all alliances are acceptable, and not all cooperation are honorable. So for Mr. Peter Obi, the red line is clear. He is not going to sacrifice character for calculation. He is not going to sacrifice value for victory. Any engagement that demands the betrayal of the trust reposed in him by millions of Nigerians, especially we the youth, is unacceptable and is non-negotiable to him. This is what I want to make clear. And you have to understand that Obi is always thinking about Nigerians. So my belief is Peter Obi will never in any way chart a path that is injurious to Nigerians, most especially the youth. He sacrificed everything for us. So that's my belief. If we chart a path, I know it is based on informed strategy, careful informed strategy, and it will benefit us, even if we are not seeing it now, we'll see it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. All right, Mike. Mike, make your comments. Mr. Mike, if you are not ready, let's move forward. All right, Mr. Jabil, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I'm not very used to this program. This is Mike speaking. Can I continue or do I wait for the other gentleman?
Proceed, please, proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks the convenance of this program. I'm not gonna take a lot of time. A lot of folks have stated what their fears and concerns are, which is the same thing that a majority of obedience have. Obedience, you say, it's a drive, like the gentleman said. It's based on integrity and the convictions of P2B. However, we also know there are politicians in Nigeria who do not have an atom of those integrity, including the former vice president of Nigeria. This is where some of the obedience are drawing their red lines. We do trust Mr. P2B, but people cannot put their finances when they know that if he chooses to become a vice president under Atiku Abubakar, for example, even if he has all the qualities we want, we all know what is going to happen. There's going to be a war between the two gentlemen because Peter B is going to be steadfast, and we know what Mr. Atiku could do. However, the Obedient group is a movement that are looking for people to develop the country. So it may not necessarily be Peter B at the end of the day because Peter B will go someday, but the movement will continue. My definite concern here is 2023, running towards that, Peter B joined the Labour Party and got the nomination. That was roughly about 9 months or 6 months before the elections. We are 18 months before November 2026. We cannot have another repeat. A lot of people will not put their money, especially those in diaspora, for something that we're not seeing what is gonna provide to the country in future. There is no structure at the moment. Labour Party is in a mess. Mr. Peter Obi and all the organizers of the Obidient Movement should, as a matter of urgency, decide what platform to stay on, because people will not put money down on something that is, oh, we're going to join, we're going to follow you. We do not follow people just because they say follow us. We follow people based on integrity. We follow people based on clear, clear, pathway to the presidency. And any other thing other than that is not going to happen. It's not going to work for a lot of us. So we do want Peter B to be a flag bearer, but we also want him to decide quickly with those he's working on, whatever strategy they are doing, to get into a platform and let us all start investing or putting money towards helping our people get to the right spot. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you very much. Mr. Jabiel, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Now, some days ago, Peter B had a conversation with some young people in Abuja. And one of them, they were asking him questions. One of them said to him that in the 2023 elections, that he voted, he participated squarely, actively. But then in the end, the victory, Peter B's victory was denied him. But before then, members of the person's family, his relatives, were mocking him. They are against him because he supported P2B, and then in the end, P2B's victory was denied him, and they started to mock him, to slander him. Now, you are in charge of mobilizing the obedience Nigerians in the north. I believe that there are some Nigerians who still have this kind of dispiritedness, this kind of their spirit being dampened by the fallouts of the 2023 election. So, what specifically, in concrete terms, what are you doing to revive their spirits?
All right. You know, some one of the major problems, in Nigeria, especially the young people, is we lack emotional intelligence, which is I think is very, very important. There are some things in this life that will hurt you, but what? That doesn't mean you should abandon those things. It happens. Life is not going to be fair. You understand? So
saying, making statements like so things happen, this and that, where and there, up and down, why, all this English, why happening in 2023. You know, we cannot continue to live in the past. The same problem we are having generally today in Nigeria. Like our forefathers, like Sardauna, Awolowo, in terms of Azikiwe, they had issues, but what still, we are still holding just grudges, which means we are still living in the past. It's not supposed to be like that. What happened has happened. Just move on and focus on your future. Coming down to 2022 election, we should have learned our lessons. You know, we evaluate, we assess what happened in 2023. We look at it, we evaluate, look at our achievements and failures. Then we work on it against 2027. We are all angry. Nobody, there's no genuine obedient that will tell you that he's not angry with what happened in 2023. Nobody. People insulted us, people mocked us, some people were attacked, some people even lost their lives, especially in Lagos and other states in the south. But that cannot and will never discourage us. It can only serve as a strength to strengthen us to prepare more and face the battle ahead. That's how it should be done. And that is when you can even, encourage other people to develop interest in what they are doing. Because once you give up, that's all. You don't give up. The only day that a man is expected to give up is when the man dies. But in as much as we are very alive, moving, there is still hope. So whatsoever happens should serve as a lesson and a strength for you to prepare for the future occurrences. So all those things that happen, we should all leave those things in the past and work on what is ahead of us. Even Mr. Peter Obi himself, he's not living in the past. He has moved on already. If you look at his move since from the judgment of Supreme Court, he moved on. He is just so focused, thinking that re-strategizing, collaborating, partnering with people ahead of the battle ahead. But how can we, the supporters, be discouraged while the head is already, preparing for the future? So this is what we should be doing. We cannot continue to live in the past. We can't allow past occurrences to stop us from preparing for the future occurrences. So please, let's work on our emotional intelligence and prepare more and work towards achieving this goal, because we are seeing success. It's very obvious. Just that what we need is more patience, more strategy, more collaboration, more partnership to achieve this success. So please, let's be oh, the English don't wrong. I hope you understand what
Well, that was great. That was great. Mr. Ibrahim, let me turn to you now. As the national opposition political parties are gearing up, forming talks, politicking, forming alliances, the ruling All Progressive Congress is not sleeping also. Some days ago, Dr. Sam Amadi, a seasoned political analyst, described President Bola Tinubu as playing bad politics, dark politics. And I believe the reason why he said that, part of the reason why he said that was uh, the recent mass defections to the APC. So my question to you now is this: how can the Obidient Movement surmount this dark politics? How can the Obidient Movement overcome this wave of masses? Is it a threat to them? We can't hear you, Ibrahim.
You know? with regards to mass defection and whether or not the Obidient movement is frightening us or we have any strategy to counter the mass defection. I would say definitely there is mass defection and there are scenes played by politicians. And politics is an emotional investment. More often than not, politicians are trying to send a message to their fellow politicians. But I will categorically tell you that this defection has little to no impact on 2027, as far as 2027 election is concerned. Let me start with Delta State. Okowa, the governor, has defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress. But let's just take a flashback to 2023. Okowa was the vice presidential running mate to Atiku Abubakar. But did Atiku Abubakar win Delta State? The answer is no. It was Peter Obi that won Delta State, which signifies that these politicians, yes, they do have their own advantage. But if the people say, no, this is what we want, they can't change the will of the people. Most especially if the people are grounded and they are certain of what they want. Like in the case of Delta State and many other places in Nigeria, like my own home state, Plateau State. You can't forget the, what are they calling him? DG campaign of Tinubu's campaign. Barrister Solomon Lalong was the incumbent governor of Plateau State at the time. But Peter Obi won Plateau State with a landslide victory, which signifies that the will of the people, if it is clear to them, they know what they want, nothing will change that. And Peter Obi is the only politicians now in Nigeria that enjoy unrefined support from the people, unrefined support. So we are not moved by this defection because we know these politicians, these conventional politicians are not going to support us because supporting Peter Obi to them is tantamount to suicide. So they are not going to commit that political suicide. We are ready for them and we foresee it before they even defect, that they are going to defect to the ruling party. To them, it's all about interest. To us, it's about the future of Nigeria.
Okay, well said. Now let's have some questions, more questions from Anadu. Judith Anadu, can make your comment or your question.
Hello, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. I've been sitting here listening to a lot of comments, but it's not a question that I have, it's a comment. I like what Ibrahim said. It's not about defection. It's about the people understanding that they have the power. How many politicians are going to control the lives of how many millions of Nigerians? And it's to let them know that they have the power. But going back to the last election and the comment made by Mike, nobody's going to, elections are all about money, but it's left for the Obidient Movement to take that money mentality away and vote with their hearts. But most importantly, they should know what they're voting against. They're voting against corruption. They're voting against poverty. So until they understand that they have the power, until we understand, I'm saying they, until we understand that we have the power, we have the greatest reason to vote rightly for our future. That's the only way the Obidient Movement will succeed in doing anything, in being influential in the next election. Now, in the last election also, the issue of security came up. Somebody here mentioned, oh, we haven't done an audit of what happened. We haven't actually done an audit of what happened. Nobody has actually been accountable for what happened in the last election. The Obidient Movement did their work. The youth did their work. But it was the people that were in charge of certain important aspects that didn't do their work. And I repeat, nobody has been held accountable. We know we are fighting with corruption. We're not fighting with human beings. We're actually fighting with the concept of corruption, which has eaten into our foundation. So what the Obidient Movement has to do now is strategize from today how to protect our votes. The votes are there. We got the votes. It's how to protect the votes and how to stand up to intimidation. Look, somebody mentioned the youths are not pulling their weight. The youths are pulling their weight. But what happened to them with SARS? What happened to them in this election? Why wouldn't they be despondent? They will be despondent because at the end of the day, they've lost lives. I don't know how many older people lost their lives. It's the younger people that were losing their lives. So what the Obidient Movement should do for this election is to strategize how to protect every single vote that comes to Mr. Obi. That's how we'll win this election. Not to pep talk. We all do pep talk every day. But right now, we need action. And that's the only way. Coalition or no coalition, it is to protect our votes. That is what we should concentrate on as the obedient body. Peter Obi can go to any party he wants. He can join up with any coalition he wants. But if we're standing behind him, our job is to protect our votes because we know that our votes are the majority votes. Thank you. That's my comment.
Thank you very much, madam. Mr. Jabiel. Mr. Jabiel, can you hear me? Mr. Malam Jabiel, you're still there? I think we have one more question from Williams. Mr. Williams, do you still have any question or comment?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay.
It's just a question, but of course, maybe one comment alongside. And the question is, when one of our guests was speaking, he made mention that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is still with Labour Party and will be running on that Labour Party, just as he said some days ago, and that the leadership of the Labour Party is now with Senator Menandi, and they are making frantic effort to make sure that INEC oblige and do the needful. Now, if that happened, then I am sure, I'm very sure, 100%, that the Abure team will go to court. Then the Inewi Convention is still there. The party has its constitution, and this will become another round of, battle in the court. And this may continue for a long time. Let's assume eventually His Excellency Peter Obi runs other Labour Party and he wins the election. And then this court case goes on, and eventually the Apure team wins that court case. What happened? Because with a very good understanding that I have, the Apure team is not going to work for Peter Obi, that I know. Because I know somebody who is a national member of the Labour Party who said clearly, categorically, and he's on the phone with me 3 times, and physically when we met twice, who said that irrespective of the candidate that Labour Party will have in 2027 election, that they were going to work for Mr. President Ahmed Tinubu. This was what he said in 2004 when we were running for the Ondo State governorship election. So it's obvious that the present Labour Party is not with Peter Obi, and they are not going to work for him. So please, what will happen? And they are being sponsored, because I know about this clearly, because I was fully involved in Labour Party before I resigned this year, February 10th. I was fully involved. I happened to be the publicity secretary of Labour Party in Ondo State, and a whole lot of the structure of Labour Party in Ondo State is hooking up to me. So I'm very involved in it. So to the national, they call me, and I'm very involved in what is going on. So I heard a lot of things from them. So now, if that happened, and they instituted a case, and they are being sponsored with that case, and you know Nigeria judiciary how corrupt it is. So if Peter Obi wins the election, and then the court throws it out, what will happen? Can't our principal, in all of this that is going on, make up his mind to look outside Labour Party? That's just the question I want to ask. Maybe other AOB, whatever contribution I have, the other one, I can say. So let me just stop there for now. Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Ibrahim, do you want to answer the question? Okay. He was asking, he was talking about the crisis in the Labour Party, that P2B should think of leaving the party entirely because the crisis is not stopping anytime soon, and there is a possibility that the Abure-led faction will still draw that crisis further, longer than expected, and even eventually win the case. So, if P2B eventually remains there, what will happen? I believe that is the question you were asking, Mr. Williams.
That is very correct, sir. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Can I come in for that question, please? Since they are not available to speak.
While Ibrahim is trying to switch back, you can continue the due process.
All right. The issue of Mr. P2B switching political party now should not be the bone of contention. Rather, the focus is on the coalition. It's no longer about political identity, but about the coalized forces to rescue Nigeria. So the attention is on the coalition. Rather, the question that Mr. Williams should be asking is, what is he doing to mobilize his team into the coalition table? And of course, the part of what COPDEM is doing with the ADC. That is the area of direction I expected the question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, due process. I think you are correct. I agree with you on that because last time when P2B was conversing with young people in Abuja, he also mentioned that while he remains in Labour Party, he's still open to a coalition as long as the coalition is aimed at, vitiating or bringing down the level of hunger and insecurity in the country. So that is it. I believe the question has been answered. More question from Opera Charles. Opera Charles, the floor is yours now.
Good evening, all. I don't know if I can be heard.
Yes, we can hear you. Speak on, we can hear you.
Hello. All right, speaking from Jigawa State. Hello.
Opera, you can speak on, keep on speaking, we can hear you.
All right. I'm speaking from Jigawa State, Duse, the capital of Jigawa. Regarding what we are on in terms of P2B and the structure, you see, we really made a lot of mistakes in the previous, being that Obidient came on board, trying to have a structure here and there, and we entered into the election, we rushed, and by the grace of God, we did well on our part. Then, now that we have ample time and opportunity to re-strategize our way and moves, so it is better we do this early. So at the moment, I think a lot of us are waiting for the reaction and the pronouncement of P2B where he is to be and the next move he's making. Because a lot of people have said things that are so valuable. We are waiting for his move. Wherever he goes at the moment, we will join him. But we are not expecting him to be the second, to be a vice to anyone, but except that is his personal will. Anyway, looking at those of us who worked at the fields during that period, many of us were tortured, many of us were laid and all that. Looking at the whole state, and people from nowhere will come into a state and they messed up the whole state and they leave without considering the people who are in the polling booth and all that. So we don't want such to repeat itself again. If Dr. Tanko can hear me very well, he was in Jigawa then. He saw what happened, where a lot of us were battling here and there. And they should also look at the state chairman of any party is going to run. Those people, they contributed to the downfall of the then Obidient and Labour Party. So those state party chairmen, in fact, their own them was just to get whatever they want to get and leave it, especially those of them who were here in the north. So they should not get people who is going to repeat such act again if they want us to move. I know people at the grassroots now, they are just waiting for his pronouncement. So the early he do that, the better for us. So he should be advised to make his pronouncement on time so that we'll be able to make use of the structure and work to get in alignment of what we are looking for on time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Opara. Mr. Jabil, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Mr. Jabil?
I can hear you.
All right. I asked Ibrahim a question about the force that the ruling APC would bring to counter the national opposition coalition. So let me put the same question to you. How do you plan to counter the powerful machinery of the APC in the north?
Well, you see, if you look at the people in charge, APC people in charge in the north, let me sorry to use this word, but they are nothing but a bunch of useless and hopeless individuals that can add no value to the APC. What do you expect anything good or anything valuable from Matawali, the former governor of Brazil? What has he achieved as the governor? What do you expect from Ganduje? What do you expect from the likes of Atiku, the former governor of KBC? What do you expect from the Gino State Minister of Water Resources, something going from Sokoto State? Those are the kind of people that APC are proud of in the north. And I can assure you, those people have nothing to add to APC. You understand? So most of the people that were used by the APC in previous elections, like Malan Nasser. Malan Nasser was the brain behind almost all the strategies of APC, not only in the north, but in the entire country. Where is Malan Nasser today? Malan Nasser is attempting and willing to make elevate. Where is Lukman, the former chairman of APC Northwest? He's no longer with them. I trust you. And those people were the people, behind all the strategies of APC in the northern Nigeria. So why all the people that friends in APC today, they are nothing but just a bunch of useless people that can add no value. So me, I will lie, I don't even go down myself. Because me, as I hear like this, the kind of works that I can pull out or beat out, I don't think much how I feel of not going to come out that much. You can only use money, but I can use my influence and my network to get the vote. So you see, there is nothing to worry about. And the most important and troubling fact is that the masses are against the APC. The masses are vehemently and strongly against APC and anything that has to do with APC. Majority on this side, and the masses is the power belongs to the people, power belongs to the masses, and the masses are not to them what they expect. So it's not something that we should bother ourselves about. Thanks.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Jabil. Ibrahim Umar Warse, do you have any other thing to add?
Am I audible? All right. I think what I wanted to add is that the Obidient Movement has set, not just for Peter Obi, but for Nigerian politics as a whole, has set a bar, a moral bar, and we are proud of that. It is a reflection of the values we have championed from day one: integrity, accountability, and a clean break from the politics of personal gain. So it's make me feel good when I hear young people talking about integrity, accountability, rather than their sentiments. So I want us also to remember that leadership entails sacrifice. Not just for Peter Obi, but for us. How can we protect our votes? In northern part of Nigeria, we have that phrase, Akasa, Atsari, Araka. You vote, you protect your votes, and you make sure your vote counts. I think we should start adopting this system from today, right away, so that we make sure that we vote for the right people, protect our vote, and make sure that our vote counts. I think that's what I want to add. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ibrahim. All right, and that brings us to the end of what has been a deeply insightful and thought-provoking edition of Politics Hour. A heartfelt thank you to our esteemed guests, Dr. Yunus Otanko, Ibrahim Umawase, and Malam Jabil, for their honesty, their clarity, and commitment to shaping a new Nigeria. Now, this evening, we have peeled back the layers of coalition politics. We have examined the crossroads facing the Obidient Movement and looked ahead to the fierce battle for 2027. The road won't be easy, of course, but it is possible. Whether the movement chooses to lead from the front, negotiate within, or build something entirely new, one thing is very clear. Nigerians are watching. Nigerians are listening. Nigerians are ready to react and act. All right, I'm Tosh Raphael, journalist with Diaspora Digital Media. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep asking tough questions. Let's keep demanding better as Nigerians, and let's keep hope alive. Thank you, everyone who has joined us in this program. See you next time.